So obviously I have the first injury and I sit out 4 games and then I come back and I play really well.
Yeah.
And I feel really good. And like even this beginning of the year, like I played great. Like I started the year really good. Like I felt really great. Like my numbers were great. I was shooting the ball well. And then I get hurt and it's like, okay, like you gotta get healthy, whatever. You're like, I'm gonna do whatever I can, you know, to get back to what I was doing and whatever, feel good.
You just heard it straight from Caitlin Clark's own mouth. The devastating cycle that broke the most promising rookie in WNBA history. But what you didn't hear in that heartbreaking confession was the real story behind those words. The months of systematic targeting, institutional betrayal, and emotional torture that led to the 6 words that would change everything. That's just disrespectful. Grow up. This isn't just about basketball calls or rookie hazing. This is about the calculated destruction of a young woman's dreams, piece by piece, game by game, until she reached her breaking point and fired back with words that exposed the ugliest truth in women's sports. The WNBA didn't just fail Caitlin Clark. They betrayed her trust so completely that when she finally spoke up, it shattered their authority forever. The story they don't want you to know starts long before those 6 words. It starts with a rookie who believed in the system, who trusted that excellence would be rewarded and hard work would be protected. Clark didn't just enter the WNBA, she transformed it overnight. A 55% spike in viewership, a quarter of the NBA's economic activity tied directly to her name. She wasn't just part of the business model, she was the business model. But here's what they'll never tell you about that meteoric rise. It painted a target on her back that would grow larger with every sold-out arena, every record-breaking broadcast, every moment she proved the old guard was holding the league back. The numbers don't lie. Caitlin Clark has absorbed 17% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA this season, despite being just one of 179 players. That's not coincidence. That's systematic targeting designed to break down the league's biggest threat to the status quo. Think about what that means for a rookie who came in believing the league would protect its stars. Instead, she discovered that being the star made her the target. Every game became a battlefield where she absorbed punishment at twice the rate of any other player, while the very officials meant to protect her turned blind eyes to obvious fouls and dangerous.
Part has just been like the stop and go of everything. Like,
Yeah.
And also like with the type of injuries that I've dealt with, like there's no real, it's not like 6 weeks. All right, you're coming back for
Right.
the Connecticut Sun game on August
all about how you feel in the
30th or
moment.
whatever. It's like, how do you feel? Like, and even like when I have been back, like, I don't know how I'm going to feel the next day after playing, like when you're dealing with like these type of injuries. So I think just like the patience of dealing with all of that and giving myself a lot of grace and,
Listen to the pain in her voice. I don't know how I'm going to feel the next day after playing. This isn't just about physical injuries. This is about a young woman who entered the league with dreams and enthusiasm, only to discover that the system was designed to tear her down. The patience she talks about, the grace she had to give herself, these aren't just recovery strategies. They're survival mechanisms. Sources close to the Fever organization reveal that Clark spent her injury time not just recovering, but documenting. Building what insiders described as a personal case file on officiating patterns, tracking missed calls, logging dangerous fouls that went unpunished. This wasn't frustration. This was a brilliant mind realizing she was fighting more than opponents on the court. She was fighting the very system that was supposed to protect her. The breaking point didn't happen overnight. It was a slow burn that started with whispered concerns and evolved into desperate pleas for protection that fell on deaf ears. Angel Reese called the officiating diabolical. Kelsey Plum labeled it absurd. Even coaches like Stephanie White, who risk thousands in fines just for speaking truth, began calling out the dangerous pattern. But when Clark tried to voice her concerns through proper channels, she was met with silence. That silence wasn't neutral, it was a message. Commissioner Engelbert's response to widespread criticism was a slap in the face to every player suffering under inconsistent officiating. No winning team complains about officiating. Think about the cruelty of that statement. She wasn't just dismissing legitimate safety concerns, she was gaslighting the very stars keeping her league alive, telling them their pain was just sour grapes. For Clark, who had given everything to elevate women's basketball, this was the ultimate betrayal. She had brought unprecedented attention, revenue, and respect to the WNBA. only to be told that her concerns about her own safety were just complaints from a losing mentality. The woman who had transformed the league was being told to shut up and take whatever punishment opposing teams and complicit officials wanted to dish out. The July 15th game against Connecticut became the final straw. J.C. Sheldon poked Clark directly in the eye in what should have been an automatic ejection, but officials called it only a flagrant 1 point. Minutes later, Marina Mabrey delivered a two-handed shove with no basketball play involved, sending Clark crashing to the floor. Crew Chief Ashley Gloss defended the minimal punishment, claiming it did not rise to the level of an ejection. But here's what makes this pattern truly sinister. The timing wasn't accidental. Clark had just returned from injury, vulnerable and trying to find her rhythm. The targeting wasn't just physical. It was psychological warfare designed to break her spirit at her most fragile moment. They wanted to send a message: no matter how much money you bring this league, no matter how many fans you attract, you're still just another player we can break. When Clark finally snapped and delivered those 6 devastating words to referee Michael Price, it wasn't anger, it was heartbreak given voice. That's just disrespectful. Grow up. 6 words that contained months of accumulated pain, betrayal, and disillusionment. 6 words that said what every fan was thinking but no player had dared to voice. The Emperor has no clothes, and the WNBA's authority was built on nothing but intimidation and institutional protection of failure. Lip readers and courtside observers caught additional words that revealed the depth of her emotional breakdown. Clark was reportedly heard saying, "Are you fucking kidding me?" before her more measured response. Sources say assistant coach Breon January had to physically restrain Clark from escalating further, suggesting the rookie had reached a breaking point where consequences no longer mattered. But here's the most revealing part of this entire saga: the league's response to Clark's emotional breakdown. Complete silence. No fine, no technical foul, no press release, no statement. The WNBA froze because they understood something terrifying. Clark had them cornered. If they punished her, she would become a martyr. If they defended the referee, they risked alienating their biggest star. Their silence became the loudest admission of powerlessness in sports history. That non-response sent shockwaves through the league that are still reverberating today. It told every player that the institution had no backbone, no authority, no control. It told fans that their biggest star was on her own, abandoned by the very league she had elevated. Most dangerously, it told opposing teams and officials that Clark was fair game, that the league wouldn't protect her no matter what. What followed wasn't just controversy, it was chaos that proved Clark's breakdown was justified. Sophie Cunningham transformed from role player to viral sensation overnight when she dragged Sheldon to the floor in apparent payback, telling the world exactly what everyone was thinking. The refs had been building this up for years by refusing to protect the league's top players. She called it payback and warned that if officials won't protect Clark, her teammates will. Cunningham's social media exploded, gaining over 1 million followers on Instagram and TikTok within days. Her jersey sales skyrocketed as fans embraced her as Clark's protector. She became living proof that Clark's emotional breakdown had sparked something bigger than just one player's frustration. It had started a movement. The statistical evidence that emerged painted an even darker picture of systematic abuse. Clark draws flagrant fouls at nearly double the rate of any other WNBA player, with 4 of those 5 fouls coming from the Chicago Sky alone. The average WNBA player draws a flagrant foul once every 47 games, while Clark's rate suggests 1 every 18 games. This isn't rookie treatment, this is targeted destruction of a player who threatened the old power structure. But the most damaging revelation came when federal attention turned to the pattern. When Republican Senator Jim Banks started citing the same statistical evidence in formal letters to Commissioner Engelbert, the controversy transcended sports. Federal investigators examined systematic disparate treatment, not conscious conspiracy. The documented evidence of Clark receiving twice the flagrant fouls while getting half the protective officiating creates what legal experts call reasonable cause for a federal probe into potential civil rights violations. Clark's 6 words didn't just challenge bad officiating, they cracked open a system that was rotten at its core. Her emotional breakdown became the catalyst that exposed how the WNBA's most valuable asset was being systematically destroyed by the very institution that should have protected her. The rookie who believed in the dream discovered the nightmare behind the curtain. The most heartbreaking part isn't just what they did to Clark, It's how they made her feel like she was the problem. Every complaint was dismissed as inexperience. Every concern was labeled as weakness. Every plea for protection was twisted into evidence that she couldn't handle the professional level. They gaslit a generational talent into believing her pain was her fault, right up until the moment she found her voice and used it to tear down their facade. The Connecticut Sun game became ground zero for this institutional failure. Ashley Gloss and her crew had a choice: enforce the rules and protect the integrity of the game, or let their pride dictate the outcome. They chose pride, minimizing blatant hits to the face and shrugging off two-handed shoves. In doing so, they proved Clark's accusation better than any highlight reel ever could. That's why Clark's breakdown matters so much. It wasn't just one player losing her temper, it was the moment when institutional authority cracked under the weight of its own failures. Her 6 words became a weapon that exposed how fragile the WNBA's power structure really was. The league thought they could silence her, dismiss her, break her down until she accepted their version of reality. Instead, they created a revolutionary who showed the world that the emperor had no clothes, that authority without accountability is just bullying, and that sometimes the most powerful response to systematic oppression is simply telling the truth. Clark's shattered dreams became the foundation for something stronger, a movement that refuses to accept that excellence should come with a target on your back. But here's what keeps me up at night investigating this story. If they could break down Caitlin Clark, the most valuable player in WNBA history, what are they doing to players who don't have her platform, her leverage, her million-dollar spotlight? How many other dreams are being shattered in silence, while the league protects the very system that destroys its own stars? Clark fired the first shot with 6 words born from months of pain and betrayal. But the war for the soul of women's basketball is only beginning, and the next breakdown might not end with words. It might end with players walking away from a league that proved it cares more about protecting bad officials than protecting the superstars who make the league matter. The story they don't want you to know isn't just about 6 words, it's about the systematic destruction of trust, dreams, and hope that those words finally brought into the light.